Good morning, everybody. 11:10 a.m. Sunday morning. It is first sip with Draft for Upside. Last minute preview of the DFS on DraftKings and random thoughts on life. How are you two today?
Doing good.
Good.
I love it. Well, Christopher got married yesterday. Big news. So if he seems a little out of it, I think he was drinking till probably still right now.
Would be no. I've got a Gatorade Zero right now. I've got
electrolytes, my friend. That's smart.
Yeah, no sugar though, so keep the calories low.
I've got the hops, but it is in tea form. The hop tea. Yeah, it's delicious. Really good. Mark, coffee? Nothing? What's up with you?
Coffee.
You had some major construction yesterday. Any issues?
Oh yeah, all kinds of issues. So they're back at it today.
Love it.
So they put in a water heater and found out all the piping was cracked and the toilet was cracked, and so they had to rip everything out, and they're redoing it today.
Nice. Well, at least everything will be squared away.
Yeah, I'll have a nice little man cave.
Well, I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning last night and didn't fall back asleep till like 6. So I've been tinkering with lineups all night long. It's definitely the worst idea. Never a good idea.
No, it's good. Never. You just have to stop. Like at the end of the show, you're done. You put it down.
Yeah. My phone is not even in here. I don't even have DraftKings website up. I'm done already. I don't even care what you guys tell me today. I'm out.
Good.
So, also, to stop myself from doing all the last minute stuff, I played very light on the main slate, and I did a 20 max out on the afternoon slate.
So you get your exposures to all the players that you wanted to tinker in?
Yes, did. I did. I put some mandatory Montgomery in a few lineups. Feel good about that.
Okay.
I like it. Too much attention on Allen Robinson. Monty's going to get the ball. That's what I've decided.
You stick to that.
Right? I like it. I don't care. Well, what's happening, fellas? Any changes of thoughts from Thursday? Are we still kind of in line for the same? Any injury updates that are new this morning that I haven't seen yet, since I haven't opened any news because I rely solely on YouTube to give me all of my news?
One interesting stat that I saw was Cooper Kupp, and it made a lot of sense. Cooper Kupp hasn't really done much. His price is kind of high, but the Rams also have not been playing from behind, and so they haven't had to throw it as much. But the Buffalo slot corner has given up, I think, the second most receptions to people in the slot. Tre'Davious White doesn't go into the slot, so he's probably going to be covering Robert Woods. So this is kind of an opportunity for Cooper Kupp to have kind of a big game here, especially if you like that Buffalo Rams game, which is something that a lot of people are targeting. They think it's going to be a high total. I guess I see that I respect Buffalo's defense. I think the Rams defense is good too. So that's the challenge there. But yeah, definitely put up some points. I have a little bit of Cooper Kupp, and that wasn't somebody that I think it was on at all on Thursday.
For sure. Yeah, I like Woods and a little bit of Kupp here or there. My main lineups, I'm probably fading a lot of the afternoon games because I decided to play so much afternoon only. So thought I'd try to get some more 1:00 exposure just for fun, because I think they're going to be super highly owned. So I like some more of these 1:00 games myself. Mark, any changes in your philosophy or towing the line from Thursday still?
I think the only thing is Chris talked me into a little bit of James Conner, so I put him in a few lineups. Other than that, no, I think it's pretty much the same for me. I do like the Miles Sanders Drake combo, so I have a little bit of that in there. But obviously, Sanders is, I think, the highest owned running back this week. So a little chalky, but at his price, how can you pass it up?
Right. Yeah, I was reading a couple of articles this morning about higher stakes lineups and fading guys like Sanders and bringing in Deshaun Jackson and Ertz instead of a Sanders, and that Deontay Johnson's going to be incredibly owned, and maybe slap Connor in that build with Juju instead of Deontay, and differentiate a little bit. So I did a little tweaking in that direction, because the morning ones I only entered like 5 lineups into one of those like 350,000 entries. So need to get a little different there.
Oh, I know the one change I made was if Galladay plays, he's playing hurt. They've already said that he's not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So I faded Galladay, and I'm rolling with more Marvin Jones and Hockenson in any of my Lions lineups. Marvin Jones, and Marvin Jones I think is top number 2 receiver. He doesn't do well when he's number 1, but when you have Galladay out there sucking up the top corner, that opens it up for Marvin Jones.
Yeah, I like Juju a lot, especially at his ownership, his projection. It was something that I said I wanted to get away from on Thursday when we talked about it, and towards Connor, and I still think that that's a good play, because I think he's going to go vastly under-owned in the sea of running backs. He's not really a guy that's on my main radar as a result of projections, numbers, and things. That the only reason I'm looking at him is to kind of differentiate there, and I certainly think he has an opportunity to have a good game. But Juju, the ownership level projections on that, it's insane. It's super low. Same with the earlier mentioned Cooper Kupp. Guys like Chris Godwin are super low owned as well, or should be. So there are some interesting spots. And of course, Deshaun Jackson, you mentioned it earlier. I had it in the article. Just got to ride or die, right? Like until he gets hurt, or
you got to just put Deshaun Jackson and Will Fuller in every lineup till it hits, bro.
Well, I don't want to put them together.
I love it. Speaking of our articles, guys, get our premium articles and our thoughts and our process at fantasyfootballblueprint.com. You can definitely go check it out. I believe he still has I think Reginald's still running that promo where if you buy the year long, you get next year's draft kit as well, I think. So I have to get on there and check it out. Say we sent you and we'll make that happen anyways. Screw it. Right? We got power, right?
I don't know. Do we?
Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Who knows? But we got some good information on there. Chris puts his DK building blocks on there. Reginald does his FanDuel building blocks. I've got my got to be drunk to play tipsy picks, of course. They were quite tipsy this week. Did you end up watching that, Chris?
I did. It was really good.
Yeah,
enjoyed it. I don't even care what you say about the picks. I just like seeing you super drunk in the middle of the night, and the fact that you passed out editing makes it even better. I'm just letting the people know. He was telling us he was going to do these picks, and then all of a sudden they just weren't there in the morning like they normally are, and he was passed out.
True story.
And if you watched it, you can kind of see that happening, and knowing that going into it was key to it. So.
Yeah, man. It's been a hot minute. My wife and I have pretty much cut alcohol out over the last couple of months, and we sent the kids to Grandpa and Grandma's house for the weekend, and I bought a 6-pack of Lighthearted and a 6-pack of Odd Side seltzers, and by the time I got to middle of editing, I was on like number 8, and that's a lot when you haven't really drank in 2 months. So,
no,
it was a good one. Highly entertaining, if I do say so.
I'm going to go get a drink, but I'm going to show you a fantastic bottle that I got. It's from Tom. He's sitting right here.
Like it. Hi, Tom.
So I'll be right back.
Fair.
So we're going to start the morning.
Yeah. I dig it. Hey, guys, by the way, if you're watching this after we broadcast, of course, check out our Facebook page, draftforupside.com. Our webpage, of course, fantasyfootballblueprint.com. There's some great season-long and in-season DFS information there. Also, we are live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. to noon Eastern, and we will answer your start-sit questions. We will answer your last-minute DFS pivots. We will answer questions on how many sit-ups and push-ups each one of us could do in any given moment. I mean, what?
One.
Yeah, one. Yeah. You ever hear that sketch with Tenacious D where they're doing the cock push-ups?
No.
He's like, yeah, you do the cock push-up. You lay down on the couch and you let it lift you up. And he says, well, how many can you do? And he's like, well, just Just one. That's pretty good. What was that, buddy? What was that? What was that? Okay. Ah, very nice.
Yeah, some Kentucky Owl. So it's really good. Smooth. Smells powerful.
Yeah.
Like my lineups and my running backs today. They're going to
Powerful.
run powerfully.
All right. Chris, what ended up being your highest owned player?
Still building my lineups.
Still haven't got one yet.
Normally have it pretty built here, but I'm not sure yet. So, I do have. I prioritize Derrick Henry, a little bit of Allen Robinson. I'm sprinkling in some Taylor, some Gibson. If we look at my here, I can actually do this. I can pull up my early and my late, and obviously these are situations where you don't have half the games in them. But in the morning slate, I kind of stuck to the guys in my article. Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, and Ben Roethlisberger were the guys in the morning slate that I liked. Those were the only quarterbacks. I got a little Dalvin Cook, some Singletary, a little bit of Miles Sanders because you have to. Everybody's going there. Terry McLaurin, Drew Sample was a big tight end for me, and then I got some Bird too. Had to save some money when I'm paying for Derrick Henry, Adam Thielen.
One of the guys that I got too tipsy to remember his name on the video. Yes, I called him Damian Bird, not Demir.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? That's
close
all the time. On the late slate, one of the spots that I just didn't get to very often, and I had to force it, and I don't think I'm going to in my main lineups, and it does kind of concern me, is this Seattle Dallas game that I think is going to be kind of popular. But I don't know. It's like, who do you pick? It's like I can't figure out who to pick, so just don't pick any of them. I don't know. Yeah, actually, my late lineups look terrible. I'm probably not going to do well there. But yeah, and the challenges with these running backs are all pretty expensive. The guys that I like, I don't want any McKinnon, like none.
Yeah, I've actually come over in that game to Wilson going to outscore him.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. Their offensive line and run blocking is just atrocious right now. Yeah, I mean, guys like Elliott, Henry, Taylor, they all look like they're going to crush. Dalvin Cook should go under-owned and certainly has the ceiling. Kenyon Drake, Miles Sanders, these are all good picks. I probably won't end up on a lot of Eckler. I know we talked about it, but just full transparency, I don't know if he has the upside sharing the load and these other guys that are just in better overall positions and similar game environments. The other one that I think is actually interesting, though, is that Chris Carson, and it's for a lot of the reasons that I said that you could look at Russ as in a potentially letdown spot here. Yeah, they're throwing the ball more, and that's getting him more involved. But look at how many touchdowns he's thrown in the last 2 weeks, and that's going to have a huge impact on his fantasy scoring. They're going to rush the ball in a couple times, and Chris Carson's going to score touchdowns. So when that happens, you're going to see Russ, not perform to the level that he had been, and Chris Carson probably being criminally under-owned. I don't have him super low owned right now, but certainly not even in the top 5 in terms of running back, I don't think.
Now, I did do a majority of afternoon slate lineups, but as I look through my ownership, Chris Carson is my highest owned player today.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his potential, I mean, I think he'll be in the top 10 owned, but you've got guys like Miles Sanders, who is going to be the highest owned, Jonathan Taylor, just in a situation where, again, game script dependent. Indianapolis should get ahead. He should get most of those touches. Naheem Hines will probably sneak in and have a huge game as a result of that. So maybe, throw a little bit of that his way. But, he's in a smash spot. Kenyon Drake, very well-known smash spot. Ezekiel Elliott just is rolling that offense. Singletary being the only guy there. I think he's probably the one that has the biggest bust potential, but I'm paying up for Carson over McKinnon, even though McKinnon looks like he's going to be higher owned. And looking at all of this right now as the revised ownerships, Derrick Henry, I mean, just not owned at all. Like, it's crazy to me.
Yeah. Derrick Henry surprised me too. Everybody's expecting another Jonnu Smith Tannehill matchup, throwing fest. Derrick Henry's only at 7% right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy because when you think about the way that game could go, yeah, look, you could have Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball all over the place, but you'd also have Kirk Cousins not being able to hit his receivers because there's not a bunch of guys for him to throw the ball to. Not that when he does, he's always the most accurate of throwers. And, it's a situation where Tennessee could get in front. Derrick Henry could run the ball 30, 35 times, catch a couple passes, and be the only guy that's getting touchdowns. I mean, does he even have a touchdown on the year right now? I don't think he does.
I don't think he does.
Like, that's going to change. I know it's not December, but like Derrick Henry's going to have some touchdowns, and when he scores, he usually scores 2 times. At least half the time, he scores 2 times all the time.
Yeah.
So
I like Henry a lot. I've got a lot of Tannehill, Henry, and Davis, Tannehill, Henry, and Humphreys, Tannehill, Henry, and Smith. I've got a lot of that combination. I really like that game.
Well, and here's the other aspect that if you're trying to differentiate yourself, you almost don't have to if you're going with a guy like Derrick Henry and you're going with one of these other high-priced running backs, just because a lot of people are going to have that, Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake combination, or Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary combination, or Jerick McKinnon for some reason. I mean, I get it. I get why people are going there, but has there ever been a game where Jerick McKinnon was the lead back that he performed? I can't think of one, and it's hard to think of because he hasn't played in like 2 years. But yeah, so I don't know. If you're looking for a low price guy, the guy that's found his way into a couple of my lineups, again, he was in my write-up, was Gibson. I will tell you, the most difficult position that I have, regardless of morning, afternoon, all day, is tight end. Tight end is just it's just tough. They've been pricing tight ends, I feel like, this year really interesting. Like, yeah, a lot of people are going to go to Jonnu Smith, but you think he's going to catch another touchdown? I mean, that's the regression coming back. Like, he's not going to score touchdowns in every game.
Yeah,
right.
I basically have Drew Sample. I've got Jordan out of Washington. I'm not joking. Logan out of Washington. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on that Jack Doyle situation. I kind of like Jack Doyle if he's is ready for the game today, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So kind of wait and see. I haven't heard any news, so I'll probably end up not having any Jack Doyle.
And I think that is something that's interesting, that you can get some, leverage if you're paying attention with some of these guys. If you build your lineup with them in there, with having a pivot, there's quite a few guys that are injured on the afternoon slate of games that we're not going to have that info for, at lock. So you do need to put these guys into your flex positions or have a pivot away. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It looks like. Let's take a look at ownership and tight end. All right. So, yeah. So, and I just think this is crazy. Like Jordan Reed,
Yeah, Jordan Reed at 12% is number one.
And I know we talked about it a little bit. I don't remember if we talked about it in the live stream, but I feel like we had some type of discussion about Jordan Reed. Yes, Jordan Reed had 8 targets, caught 7 balls and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a good day, but he only played 28 out of 59 snaps. So do you think you're going to get that type of production out of him again? I mean, if I told you this guy's only going to play 28 snaps, I mean, I guess at his price, but I don't know. He's projected to be the highest owned, but it looks like it's pretty spread out here. Zach Ertz is going to be pretty popular as well, but most of these guys are sub 10%. So I guess the field is just putting their exposure all over the place and kind of feeling what I'm feeling. I think Darren Waller's a guy that probably will be under-owned versus his projection because of that Q tag. I'm completely comfortable with Darren Waller, unless you guys tell me that he's out in like 2 minutes or something.
I haven't seen anything about him yet.
And again, that's going to be a situation where you're going to have a much higher priced guy than a lot of the field. And so it's going to differentiate your lineup, especially if you stack in Derrick Henry with another expensive running back, then you put Waller in there. You're going to have cheap receivers. You're going to have to find spots that allow you to, stay under the salary cap, and as a result, you're going to be different. So Tom just sent me a message. I mean, he's right here. I don't know. He could have asked. But so a question from the chat here is Higbee. Thoughts on Higbee, guys?
I mean, he had a couple of big games back to back last year, if I remember correctly, didn't he? At the end of the year.
I don't think it was last year. I mean, not like last. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he had a stretch last year. He had like 4 straight games where he had almost double-digit targets. 5 games where he had targets anywhere from 8 to 12. 4 of those 5 were 11 or more. 84 yards in one of those, and then 100 or more in each of those. But I mean, when you look at last week, 5 targets, 3 of those ended up being touchdowns. At his price, you almost need some touchdowns. And I don't know. I guess you could be different. I mean, it's going to be the same concept as Darren Waller. You're going to a guy that had a great week last week. Darren Waller has a much bigger role in that offense than Higbee does. So, yeah, he's a GPP play. Wouldn't play him in cash. Certainly would start him if he's in your seasonal league. But I don't know. I probably won't end up there, and I don't think a lot of people will. So, I mean, I guess it's a good play in that sense. I'm kind of talking myself into it, and I feel like I'm going to be the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good spot for him. He's been getting the ball. It's so hard to go back at a guy who just got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, and the field agrees. I mean, he's super low owned. When I look at these projections, like Drew Sample being super low owned, TJ Hawkinson is another guy that's on the more expensive side that, as you mentioned it earlier, Mark, he's probably a better target. I mean, if Golladay doesn't play, Hawkinson's a great play. If Golladay does play, he's a great play still. I think that, I do have some Dalton Schultz, but I think that that's a mistake to go to quite a bit. I mean, low exposure is okay, but I don't know. See, I'm just so wishy-washy on all these tight ends. Sorry, I'm not giving good information.
That's okay. I mean, every week can't have that knockout, bro. Come on, man.
Apologizing to you. I was apologizing to the viewers.
I agree with you, Chris. I think tight ends is one of the hardest ones this week. And it's just, for me, it was just finding value, which I ended up with a lot of Logan Thomas. Just, he's at the right price for my builds.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with Logan Thomas, especially get under that 4K if you need to. He played all the snaps last week, 60 out of 60.
Yeah.
Go look at his route involvement.
You could slam a 40 real quick and put Ryan Izzo in the
lineup. So he ran 33 routes, 100% drop back. So yeah, and Cleveland has not done well against tight ends this year. I mean, okay, let's put the context into it. They gave up all those touchdowns to Mark Andrews, so at least we don't have to decide if we want to play Mark Andrews this week. But I mean, to be fair, they gave up 11 receptions to Cincinnati too. So yeah, I mean, I like that play. I probably will. He will probably be my highest. You've talked me into it. You've convinced me. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Stop trying. You've got it. It's already there. I know you're twisting my arm. Oh, man.
Yeah, I have Jordan Reed in one lineup because he's a run back for my Giants. That's it. I was just flipping through tight ends, but yeah, it's pretty much exclusively Logan Thomas.
That's how I am with Higbee. He's in my one Jared Goff lineup.
As I'm tinkering right now, even though I told you I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, stop tinkering.
No. Can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Any love at all for Tariq Cohen in a game that Chicago will likely have to push the pace? $4,300.
Yeah.
He's an okay pivot, I guess. I haven't been impressed with him so far this year, and
I'm just kind of stuck in that like low end 4,000 range. Just can't really find anybody. It's a spot that I keep like just dipping down to Bird or Hamler instead, and then upgrading elsewhere.
The news out of Chicago is they've fallen out of love with Tariq Cohen, and he's just not being used the same. So I seen him down there too in that 4,000 range, and I just kind of pass over him.
Yeah, I mean, I end up either dip into one of those $3,000 guys, a Hamler or Bird, or even Kerryon Johnson at 4,200, just in case the Lions are any kind of a smart semblance of an organization that wants to try to showcase him for a hot minute to trade him. Not going to happen.
I like Carry On. Yeah, the problem is you don't know which of the three running backs will score for Detroit.
Right.
And the other low price guy I like down there is Adam Humphries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Humphries is in a good matchup. I mean, I think both of Minnesota's starting cornerbacks are out. I mean, that game could absolutely be a 60-point, shootout.
Yeah, and you got the AJ Brown out.
Yeah, Brown's out.
Yeah. So, Humphries really becomes, number 2 or number 3 receiver in that case. You can argue it's going to be Davis and then maybe Jonnu or Humphries. So,
I think Sample. Yeah, I think Sample's an okay play too. I like Logan Thomas a little bit more around that price point. But looking back on it, obviously, again, Philly's numbers are skewed. We only have 2 games, and they just gave up 3 touchdowns to Tyler Higbee. But these guys have in 2 games given up 4 touchdowns to the tight end position. Logan Thomas scored 1 in week 1 on 4 receptions, 8 targets. So, what I did is I looked back at 2019, and it's like, okay, they were one of the best teams against tight ends last year in terms of limiting fantasy production. But when I went back to it, like, these are the guys that they played. They played Vernon Davis, Austin Hooper, Logan Thomas, as a matter of fact, Jimmy Graham, Mercedes Lewis, Ryan Griffin, Kyle Rudolph, and Irv Smith, Blake Jarwin, Jason Witten, Tyler Croft, Burton, Ben Watson, Hollister, Gesicki, Caden Smith, Jeremy Sprinkle, Jason Witten again, and then Caden Smith again. And a couple of these guys had big games. Caden, Gesicki, to some extent Jimmy Graham and Vernon Davis. But that's not a murderer's row of tight ends, and those are not offenses last year that were prioritizing those guys. So you got to almost throw that out and hope that other people are looking at that and say, yeah, well, let's look at last year. Let's look at the numbers. Oh, they were really good against tight ends, so they're going to regress. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were. But if Sample gets you a touchdown, even if it's a short touchdown, he's almost there at value for you. So.
So I don't know if this is breaking news or not, but the Falcons just placed their starting cornerback on the COVID list and promoted 2 people from the practice squad. So we're going to have practice squad cornerbacks playing for Atlanta today.
And Julio is going to be inactive.
Yeah, Julio's inactive officially.
Yeah, and Darren Waller is playing. So is N'Keal Harry and Edelman. Seeing if there's anything. Duke Johnson. So if you want to, fire up those David Johnson chairs, that you probably shouldn't. And Henry Ruggs will be out too. So yeah, I mean, some surprises there.
No word on Galladay yet, but I'm guessing he's going to play and be mostly a decoy.
I still don't mind playing Galladay in a large field GPP. I don't have a problem with it. To get Julio out of my lineup, looking back, this Joe Mixon, Julio back-to-back picks not looking so hot for me here. In our beer kill league. Still beating you guys. Yeah, so what about defenses? Where are you guys looking at defense? We've spent a lot of time talking about tight ends, and it looks like we're consensusly on Logan Thomas, so that's great. Thank you.
I think my most owned one ended up being Tampa Bay so far against Denver. I don't always like doing the defense on the road, especially traveling to Denver, but the price seemed to be right because I'm in those afternoon lineups a lot. I like the Chargers a lot too. Those tend to be the main ones that I was using. Got a little bit of Washington. And I have one lineup with the Jets because I just decided to punt defense. But like you said, Phillip Rivers could throw a pick six at any minute. So
Yeah, and I found myself heavy on the Giants with Jimmy Grapes out and Mostert out, and so
I think if you have the money, it's certainly a spot where you can pay up for defense, especially if you are going into one of those inexpensive running back lineups that are going to be popular, and you can find some cheap wide receivers because they're out there for sure. And you can go with like a Pittsburgh. I think you can go with, Indianapolis too.
I definitely have some Indianapolis Taylor combinations.
Yeah, I mean, the concern is there with Phillip Rivers, but I don't know, is he going to have to throw the ball all that much this week? I don't think it's going to be a situation. I mean, I just hate looking at a team and saying that that's going to be happening, and that's for sure. But this Jets team is just in disarray. Coaching's terrible. They don't have anybody out there. It's just, I guess somebody said that their game plan last week revolved around Perriman, and when he went down, they didn't have any way to pivot off of it.
Well, Adam Gase is the worst coach in NFL history. So what do you do?
I don't know. What do you do?
Well, nothing.
So how do you, if Julio's out, how did that change the Atlanta offense in your opinion? I mean, obviously it changes it, but where you go? Do you go to Gage more? Do you feel like Ridley is more playable, less playable?
I like Ridley just the same as before. I like a little bit of Gage. I'm actually hoping Hayden Hurst gets a little pickup there.
Oh, so we're back to tight ends. We're going to talk about Hayden Hurst.
I know. Yeah, with Julio out, I mean, it's easier to cover Gage than Julio. So I don't know. I still like Ridley a lot, and I'm going to play him until he proves me wrong.
Yeah, I didn't really change my mind. I'm not going to change my mindset there. I like Ridley and Gage.
Yeah, and I wasn't playing Jones or Ryan anyways, so I had a little bit of Ridley, had a tiny bit of Gage. I don't think I have any Hayden Hurst. I don't think that'll change either. I don't think I'm going to pay up for that. So it doesn't really change anything for me. It changes season long for me because I have Jones in 2 out of 4 leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I think it downgrades Ridley a little bit, in my opinion, especially at his price. Going to get the primary coverage, all the attention. I think it does elevate Gage. I mean, you're looking at 7K versus 5K. That's a pretty big difference, and certainly I think I'm going to take my Higbee lineup and move it to Hurst. Still going to primarily be with Logan Thomas, though.
Tweaking. Yeah. Tweaking myself out of money. Tweaking. Later, I won't think it's funny.
Like, what are you changing? Like, if you're changing based on news, that's one thing. But if you've got these lineups set, you put them together, and you're just changing to change them, that's a problem. Now,
I'm not. I'm just going through and looking where I filled in things that don't make any sense.
Well, okay.
Like I have a couple places where I have 4 guys from one team and 3 guys from the other side of that same team, same game, and why did I do that? So just swapping out a little bit here or there.
I see.
Because I did 20 max lineup, so I did a lot of differentiating, but I went a little too far in a few places.
I mean, I guess the nice thing is that you won't have any idea if you tweaked out when you have that many lineups, right?
No, that's right. Yeah, last week when I only had 3 main lineups and I last minute changed the Dallas side to the Atlanta side, just it really hurt. It really hurt. And I looked back at that competition and saw where that lineup would have finished. I shouldn't have done that. Live and learn. Yeah.
So we talked about expensive defenses. Is there any cheap defenses that you're interested in? I mean, I have 2. Obviously, the Washington defense, as you mentioned, but also the Eagles, I think, are interesting against Cincinnati. They get a lot of pressure. Cincinnati's still a young quarterback. It's in Philadelphia, as Mark said, tough place to play even without a crowd. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll find out today, right?
Right.
That's right.
Now, like I said, I'm almost all Giants with a sprinkling of actually I'm all Giants with one New England.
Yeah, I don't mind the Giants.
No,
I don't
it was
mind
it was a very good price, and they're facing a bunch of backups. So I'm just hoping for maybe an interception or two or something like that. I mean, they only have to get me 8 points for value. So
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, we had a bunch of questions Thursday night that we missed in our on our Facebook chat, and I was hoping we'd get a few today, but no luck. No luck. I don't have much else, my friends. What are you going to do tonight, Christopher, as your first night post wedding day? You going to just watch football? You going to go out and do something? What you got planned?
Absolutely nothing. Tom has a flight out of BWI at 6 a.m. BWI is an hour away. So figure out with getting there on time what time we're going to have to leave. So we'll see. I'll wake up, and then I'm going to evaluate whether I pay for his Lyft ride there, if they're even available at 3:30 in the morning.
I like that. Justin Lewis. Mark should have used that $17K for a haircut.
I thought you did get a haircut. Not yet?
I haven't made the appointment yet. It's all by appointment, and I just haven't done it.
Yeah, you damn hippie.
I was thinking about going and get my wife's horse clippers and just clipping my head.
I like it.
Yeah, do it on stream. It'd be great.
Yeah, we're here for you.
So yeah, this week's kind of interesting for me. To recap, I'm typically pretty sure where I'm going to go with my main lineup. I mean, I have 5 lineups. That's all I'm running. I'm not doing like the 15 or 20 in the Millie Maker. Not as much as last week. A little more than the first week. Took some rough hits and LOL this weekend, but had a nice hit today. So I don't know which lineup I'm going to put in there and finish second or third and just dominate this D4U seasonal DFS league as I have been.
Yes.
Prime position.
I'm trying to go above last place or second to last place this week, so my bar is very low.
And the good news is you have like 20 lineups to pick from. So
that's right. Yeah, let's just make sure. Last time I did that, I put an experimental crappy one in there, and let's not do that again. Yeah. But when I tried to pay attention, it didn't work last week either. So.
Yeah, I ended up with only 10 lineups. A lot of games just didn't interest me this week. Mm-hmm. So I'm very, very concentrated on core players, and I only did a few stacks. So plus I felt like I overdid it last week.
So that's how it be sometimes.
Whoa, yeah. I just found a lineup with P. Ryan and Hogan in it. Did I do that while I was drinking?
Probably.
We're gonna have to fix that. That's why I'm going over this stuff. Any thoughts to the showdown tonight, fellas? Any thoughts to that? Have you even looked at it yet?
Just full disclosure, I'm not doing any content for it, so it's on you, Mark.
Okay. So I will look at it later and post an article.
Yeah, I think there should be some focus on Monday night. We have a Millie Maker for the Monday night show up that I believe we all got some free tickets to. At least I did.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty exciting game too. There's going to be a lot of attention. I got one free ticket, but let's take a look. So the prime time. Yeah, Aaron Jones. Like, hey, I don't know if Devontae Adams has been ruled out officially, but especially
he's doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play. So Aaron Jones is kind of the play. I'm actually pretty happy that he's not on the main slate. I think he was going to be super popular, and it's a good spot. I don't think that this New Orleans team is as good as we thought they were. But we'll see. We'll find out. I mean, it's just one of those situations where you've got 2-game sample and you really don't even understand the teams that they played against. One thing I do understand is that Aaron Jones is better than Alvin Kamara. But you can play both.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Traquan Smith, I think those are the 3 guys that you need in your lineup. I think you'll be able to do that by playing, some combination of Lazard or MVS, maybe a little Jared Cook. I don't think as many people are going to go to Jared Cook. They kind of burned him last week, especially this guy right here, me. So I think I think there's some pretty clear paths in that game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll play any tonight, but I'm going to play Monday night. So that'll be an exciting game, Kansas City and Baltimore.
Yeah, I think you should play both the quarterbacks in that one. Little Mahomes, little Lamar Jackson. This is just a pro tip.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't fade Lamar. Oh, come on.
I'm playing both defenses, both kickers, Gus Edwards and Daryl Thompson.
There you go.
All right. Do we have any questions? Anything else? Or
no, I don't see anything out there. I don't see any questions here. So I'm good. You guys good?
Good.
I love it. Well, please check us out. More details are on the subscription at fantasyfootballblueprint.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook most often at draftforupside.com. We do all things football. We try to get golf in there, a little esports, a little baseball still going on. So please go check us out. It's all over at fantasyfootballblueprint.com. I am Johnny Danger, Chris Emmerich, and Brewery Mark. We'll see you all on Wednesday night.
See ya.
See you then.
later.